VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Yes! Palm readers unite. Follow the money. Sirius XM Channel 158. Ready to rock and roll live from Circa, baby. Pauly Howard, Mike Palm. Big show coming up. Recap what transpired last night. Look ahead to next season. Non-conference games. Props in the NFL. Tony Rizzo on the Buckeyes getting it done. The Big Ten runs college football. You cannot be serious. Jeff Seeley on golf, the CEO of Circa. Derek Stevens in studio. Circa Squares, lot going on. How you doing, Maestro? We got hockey trends coming out of our ears. Good to see you. Thanks for pinch hitting. How you been?
Well, thanks. I hope well wishes to Mitch Moss. We hope he feels better and that he's back tomorrow. It was again an incredible weekend, Paul, between the 4 NFL playoff games and the national championship game last night. Very entertaining football. Huge crowds here at Circa.
Sure.
And how about this? In the 4 divisional round games, the team with the most yards from scrimmage, 0-4. Think about that.
Crazy. No kidding.
0-4.
Well, looked like we had a blowout last night. A lot of guts by the Irish. Great job coming back. And again, much like the 3 divisional round games, it was on the number. I mean, sitting there on 8. And again, you always got to get the best of it. And then what's going to happen at the end with the field goal? 28-7 after the touchdown early third quarter. Then after the field goal, 31-7 with 7:58 left. I thought, run out. They're going to blow them out. There's nothing the Irish can do after that beautiful drive to open it up. And then all hell breaks loose. And I know you thought there was a key play in the game that helped the Irish get back into it.
Well, Ibuka's fumble. I think they're going in there again, Ohio State. And listen, they hadn't stopped them the whole game. They hadn't forced a punt. They hadn't gotten a turnover. That really sort of gave them life. But even though they're down 24, it's a 3-score game. I mean, I remember at 31-7, our end game was 26.5, Ohio State, which was consistent across the board. Then the Irish got some life. And, boy, you know, you got a 1st and goal from the 8-yard line with 10 minutes to go in the game. Down 16. You convert there. You got 9 minutes. Obviously, it didn't work out. He tried to kick the field goal. You got to stop. You finally got to stop. Mm-hmm. You get the punt. You go down. You get the 2 again on the trick play. And now you got to stop Ohio State. And the problem with the field goal, Paul, was even if you kick the field goal, and I know he said 9 yards. We don't feel comfortable with 9 yards. You still need 2 touchdowns. That means you got to stop Ohio State on consecutive drives, which they got the first stop and the touchdown in 2.
I couldn't believe it.
But the next time Ohio State gets the 2 first downs and ends the game.
You texted me immediately.
What is he doing?
How many possessions does he think are remaining in the game? And I knew what he was going to say afterwards. It was a long conversion, and then I'm concerned about 2 two-point tries, which they got anyways on both of the touchdowns. But there's just not enough time there. And then finally, all the issues they had with the kicking game reared its ugly head. You don't even make the damn thing. So I thought that was a poor decision. People were stunned. Again, you're making a 2-score game. But I don't understand the fake on the punt. That I don't get.
That's the worst call.
Yes.
I think that's clearly a worse call than the field goal. You bring Angeli in as the up back. What do they think they're going to do here? You cannot punt the ball down 28-7 in the third quarter on 4th and 2. 7 times they had run that quarterback draw with Riley Leonard, and Ohio State didn't stop him once on 3rd and 4th short. He rammed himself up in there for 3, 4, 5 yards every time. If they were going to stop it for the first time, so be it. You had to go out there with your offense on the field. I know it was a catchable ball, but it didn't happen. But, boy, I'd have left my offense on the field there. I
thought the same thing. Just run it with Leonard.
Run it. They didn't stop
reason.
it.
Yeah,
the entire first drive. Paul, 18 plays. They ran Leonard 9 times. You knew what was coming. Every big third down against Penn State, they ran that same play, quarterback draw. And Penn State never stopped them either. So there's a lot of different things. At the end of the day, Ohio State, when they play their best game, is better than Notre Dame playing their best game. Mm-hmm. You needed mistakes by Ohio State. They got 2, I thought. They got the Ibuka fumble, and then they got a holding penalty on Ohio State, which caused a field goal in that drive instead of a touchdown. But that was it. Other than that, you stopped Ohio State's offense once the entire game. They're too good.
Yep.
There's too many people to defend.
That's true. Well said. The other thing was it was just the first drive was beautiful. I mean, to go 10-plus minutes. And here, we're just going to run it. Can you stop it? And he was 7-1 to score the first touchdown, but then he's puking on the sidelines. And Freeman said we just couldn't do that to him. It's not fair to him. I'm not saying do that every possession, but then nothing happened till the third quarter. I'm saying you can't do it a couple more times?
Well, then bring Angeli in and throw the ball the next drive.
You could do that too.
Right? I thought they should have had packages for Angeli. He made 7 passes in the Orange Bowl. They were all pinpoint. Even the one he threw out of bounds was a perfect pass out of bounds. And then people said he's not mobile, and they're scared that if the Ohio State pass rush gets to Angeli, he's going to turn the ball over. But on that first drive, Paul, when they got to the 25, he was gassed. And they kept running him.
I know.
And they even talked on the broadcast. Maybe you take a timeout on 1st and goal at the 1 because he's and then he went and puked on the sidelines. Yep. I get that, but then you've got another quarterback. Run a different package there. Give him 15 minutes off the field.
You could. You give him a blow. Yeah. I know you get him killed out there. It's not fair to him, but that was a beautiful drive and incredible that they go right down the field to start. And then what you had with Greathouse again, who was 24-1 to have the most receiving yards in the game. And he goes for 2 touchdowns, and he was a beast in that game. So just a fantastic comeback. It looked like they had a shot, and then who would cover there as it sits on 8, and then the field goal to go up 11, and that's it. And then we'll get the Ohio State perspective coming up at the bottom of the hour with Tony Rizzo. But this guy goes from being run out of town to winning the national title. That they were sick and tired of him losing to Michigan, and that they found their A game, and they were awesome. And they beat themselves against Texas. But I know Mitch said it, and other people did too, about the UConn comparison. That is we're just going to come in and cover every single game the rest of the way. And that's what they did, even though they didn't bring their A game in the second half last night or against Texas, but still got the money.
The Texas should have covered in that game.
No doubt.
You can argue that.
Yeah.
People will say, what was the key play in Notre Dame losing the national championship? It's Sarkisian pitching the ball wide at the 1-yard line.
Absolutely.
That's where you lost the national championship when you had to play Ohio State.
Yep. So we had a 7-seed play an 8-seed in the title game. The higher seed, a.k.a. the team that was seeded with the worst seed, went 7-0 on neutrals. So they certainly got this right with how to play it out, and that we got the best of it, because under the old format and system, Notre Dame wouldn't have been considered because they had a horrific loss, even though they had a good resume. And the Buckeyes, too, would have been knocked out, losing to Michigan as a 20-point favorite. So they're talking about tinkering with the format and the system. I would imagine the thing they're going to get rid of is what happened with Boise and Arizona State with their good seeds, low seeds, and getting the bye. But all in all, did it live up to the hype and the expectations that you had and what we thought would be the greatest college football season ever? I thought it was fantastic.
So. Yes. How can you argue that? All games were meaningful the last month of the year.
Yes.
Under the old format with 4 teams, Paul, who really, 6 teams had a shot to get in? And it was, you could take that group of Ohio State and Texas and Alabama and Georgia, and you knew what 3 of the 4 teams were every year. Mm-hmm. Here, I mean, Iowa State was in it. They had a shot to be in it, to beat Arizona State in the title game, right? I mean, everybody that's still in a conference race has a shot to qualify. It made for a lot more meaningful football late October through November. And then I thought the playoff, outside of the fact that, the higher seeded teams, which you probably just do away with it and just go by the rankings, they get in because they won their conference, but you don't. I can't complain about it. I thought the games were good, and you got 3 terrific games, 2 semifinals and a final that were highly entertaining and competitive.
Quarters, I mean, there's nothing you can do. It happens. You look what happened in the Super Wild Card weekend. You just couldn't get a close game, but turnovers were a big reason why. And Boise had a shot, but they turned it over 4 times. That was a 3-point game in the third quarter. Arizona State, Texas was epic. I'm glad that they were 150-1, something like that, to win the conference. That was a great story. It's just that's how it goes sometimes. But they must also tinker with the number 1 overall seed needs some type of advantage here. Oregon got no advantage to going undefeated, and they couldn't even get a home game.
I mean, we talked about a long time the 5 seed's better than the 1 seed, right?
True, no doubt.
It was in terms of Oregon had to play your national champions in their very first game on a neutral.
How do you feel now as a Notre Dame fan? I didn't think the uptick in what Freeman's doing here after Kelly left. This is a great job. And they're going to be preseason top 10 again. Just replace the quarterback, and to think, you haven't won it since '88, but you're in a great position here, and who they went through, and they covered 11 in a row and beat 7 ranked teams.
Well, you have Angeli and now Carr coming in, so you're good. You should be okay at quarterback there. I think the key thing for them, Paul, is he had 2 great coordinators this year, and can he keep his coordinators, right? I mean, Golden, what he did with that defense, we can.
I think he goes with the Bengals.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, that's an upgrade for the Bengals.
Although
don't tell the Colts that.
Yes.
I didn't know you could get worse than Gus Bradley. They did it.
I know. How's that press conference going to go?
How's he still in the NFL?
Lou, how you doing, Lou? hey, guys, I came from the Bengals. You know, we just had a record season offensively and missed the playoffs. Good to see you. I mean, what?
I mean, Lou Anarumo will be the footnote of Joe Burrow's career.
Yeah.
Won't it? With the horrible defense they've had? I didn't think anybody's reputation had taken a worse hit in the last 3 or 4 years than Lou Anarumo, who was talked about as one of the bright defensive minds. They've been awful for 4 years.
Damn right, yeah. But you're not joining a conference.
Yeah.
You can't get a bye, but still with your schedule.
Look, Freeman's got it good there because what's the expectation at Notre Dame? Win 11 games and get in the playoff.
Yeah.
I think he can do that.
Yeah.
Right? He can do that. He's got the horses. I don't think he would consider going anywhere else, even if they dangle money in front of him, because you're starting over and you'll go to a team with very, very high expectations, and you have to win now. He's got a nice spot there where he's at Notre Dame.
The Big Ten runs college football.
3 out of the top 5, Paul.
3 of the top 5 teams are Big Ten, and they go back to back. And the Buckeyes are the favorites next year. The preseason favorite hasn't won it since 2017 in Bama. But you replace Howard, you have a lot of guys coming back, all that NIL money. Penn State's got a lot of guys coming back. I know Franklin can't win a big game, but Oregon, yeah.
They got James Franklin coming back.
I know. But you got the Ducks as well. And I don't know. We'll see if you buy the Arch Manning hype, but not a lot for the SEC to hang their hat on here. We'll get to the early look at next year's top 25, the best non-conference games, and you won't believe what the ACC is thinking about. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now live 24/7, Sirius XM Channel 158. Whether you're at home, on the road, or on the go, there's more ways to tune in. Stream us live, VSiN.com, the VSiN Watch app, YouTube TV, iHeartRadio, Fire TV, Roku, and now Sirius XM. Follow the money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158, live from Circa.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Join us on a numbers game where Gil Alexander takes you on an informative and entertaining ride, focusing on the numbers that fuel today's bettors.
The Pittsburgh defense is amazing. I'm not doubting that. You think it's impressive, but you don't get how impressive it is. Okay, Mr. Football, we get it. In the end, there's Mahomes, just waiting, laughing at your little rankings.
He sets the table as the money comes in each day, helping you become a sharper bettor. Catch a numbers game weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So, Pauly, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Tony Rizzo at the bottom of the hour. Buckeye Nation. Get the thoughts about Ohio State getting it done and what's going on with Watson again. A lot of good stuff coming up with T. Rizzo. The early top 25. Buckeyes number 1. Texas number 2. Everyone excited about Arch Manning after they lose Ewers. Penn State number 3. You lose Carter and Warren. Aller, Allen, and Singleton are back. Irish checking in at number 4. Georgia number 5. It's all up to Gunnar Stockton. And that was a messy end of the season for Georgia. Oregon number 6. Clemson number 7. Klubnik's back. Good offense. At least how they closed the season. Nah, you're not.
I thought Klubnik had a great game
he was great
against Texas.
He
was the best I've ever seen him against Texas.
Yeah. I've seen LSU all over the map. Some people 16, some people 8. You know, it's hard to get there with Kelly and how the run that they're on. BYU at 9. I think you're a South Carolina fan.
I love South Carolina.
What do you think? South Carolina number 10 and some.
They open with Virginia Tech.
Yep. Bama all the way down to 12. Got to replace Milroe. You lost 4 games. Okay. We'll see now. It's going to be rough.
The Boer's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Huh? How good does Saban look?
Yep. Well, it also changes things now with NIL and the talent spread out, and everyone can make the playoff now as well.
Was Michigan ranked, Paul?
I didn't see him. I didn't see him top 20.
Closed the year pretty good.
With that, yep. Top non-conference games. Notre Dame at Arkansas, September 27th. Series first announced in 2017, impacted because of COVID. The Fighting Irish and Razorbacks face off for the first time ever.
That for Lou Holtz? They got the series with Arkansas?
Yeah, I imagine. Good to see him there.
Minnesota, South Carolina. They can play a lot of teams.
Yeah. SMU at TCU, September 20th. Chapter 4 of Sonny Dykes versus Old School. SMU got them last year, made the playoff, and they're preseason top 25 as well. Wisconsin at Alabama. Their first ever visit to Bryant-Denny. I don't know. It was ugly last season.
Very ugly. Yep. Ed Madison.
Yep. Here's what you talked about. South Carolina, Virginia Tech, August 31st in Atlanta. Beamer against the program that Frank Beamer built. Should be a good one. And I'm with you. You got to be high on South Carolina. Georgia Tech at Colorado, August 30th. 35th anniversary of the Yellow Jackets and Buffalo split national championship game. Tennessee against Syracuse in Atlanta, August 30th. Iowa at Iowa State, September 6th. Iowa State with the walk-off last year. Pitt at West Virginia, September 13th. Rich Rod's back. Florida at Miami, September 20th. What do you think of Miami? I see them high on the list and down on the list. We don't have a great offense.
Who's coming in at quarterback?
We'll Carson Beck.
Oh, goodness.
We'll see if Cristobal can fix the defense. So they fired the coordinator. But I think Miami can have a good team.
What's the AC? Do they have odds for the ACC to win the conference yet? Not.
No. Although Adam Burke was making a good case for Louisville as a long shot. Because they, four losses by 1 score?
Including that game at Stanford.
Oh, ridiculous. Yep. Texas A&M at Notre Dame, September 13th. Yeah,
that's the return matchup.
Uh-huh. Alabama at Florida State, August 30th. Oh, poor Norvell. TCU at North Carolina. The Fighting Lombardis, August 30th. They hosted Deion Sanders' first game, and now they get the first crack at Belichick and the Tar Heels. LSU at Clemson, August 30th. Good one. Michigan at Oklahoma, September 6th. And Notre Dame at Miami, August 30th. Wow. And Texas against Ohio State, August 30th. There's a lineup at DraftKings. The Buckeyes are 3.5. Arch Manning likely to make his debut. Number 1 against number 2 likely. And the rematch of the semifinal. That'll start the season. And some of these matchups are up at DraftKings as well. Good job. That's your early look at the top 25 in your big non-conference games. And, a lot of these bunched up here at Circa. But it's your usual cast of characters. There's Georgia's up there, Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State, and Texas for your favorites. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips said Sunday the league will have conversations among coaches and ADs about whether to make changes to its conference championship game format. The conversations are a result of the expanded 12-team college football playoff and ensuring conference champs and the teams that play in conference champion games remain important. We know what happened with SMU. They had to sweat it out before earning a spot on Selection Sunday. McMurphy broke the news before they went to air. It was fantastic. He had the great line. There are 4 people out there. If they tell me the world's going to end tomorrow, the world's going to end. And he had the news. A possibility, Phillips said, the ACC could give its regular season champ a bye and have teams that finish second or third in the standings play in the ACC title game. What do you think, Maestro?
So who's the champion? The regular season champion is the one that gets the bid into the college football playoff?
They're going to protect themselves from what happened last year. Because if Clemson wins that by margin, Alabama gets in.
And then you elevate the second or third team.
Yeah.
To take
and you give them the shot.
You give them the jolt.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I like it.
Will others follow suit?
Good point. Would they do this? Option number 2. The top 4 teams play on the final weekend of the regular season. 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. The winner meets the following weekend in the ACC title game.
Well, you can knock more of your teams out that way, I think.
Yeah,
I think option 1 is the way to go if you're trying to protect
like
your
option
conference.
1. But also, it's weird where you're going to have all these teams bunched up, like you had with the Big Ten, and you're getting into crazy tiebreakers, or the Indiana scenario where you don't play anybody. You're 11-1, but you look at their resume and there's nothing on it. Yes.
So this past year, you would have given SMU the championship by the regular season and had Miami and Clemson play each other in the title game, right?
What if Miami? Yeah.
You give Miami a shot at redemption there, right?
Right. Would have worked out. SMU in, and if Miami's impressive, they're in too. Not bad. I like what they're doing. The big question is, do others follow suit? He will have conversations with head coaches on a conference call to get their feedback, pointing to Rhett Lashley's comments, SMU coach, leading up to the game, which he said they were better off not playing to protect its spot in the field. He was right. The conference championship games are important as long as we make them important, right? Do you play 2 versus 3? You go through the regular season, whoever wins the regular season, you park them to the side, and you play the second place versus the third place? So you have a regular season champion, you have a conference tournament or a postseason champ. That's one of the options, depending on how you treat the conference champions or that championship game that you want to do it differently. I've alluded to that, some of our weekly calls with ADs. Some of it's moving forward, and we want to recap and what do we want to do with the future. That's from Phillips, the ACC commissioner. Very interesting.
In the Big Ten, you would have given Oregon the regular season championship and had Ohio State and Penn State play each other, which everybody's still getting in, I think. Even if Penn State lost a second time to Ohio, they're getting in. They lost their second game to Oregon, right? Everybody was still in. That wouldn't have made it an effect. Who would have been? Arizona State would have been the regular season champion in the Big 12, and then
that was weird. That
Iowa State would have played Colorado or something.
Yeah. That was another scenario. Right. We could have an 8-way tie if things broke.
Everybody 6-3, yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing is just get rid of conference championship games. That's another one that you could do. Do you think they're going to expand? I don't think they should expand. You think they're going to keep it? Just tinker with the seating?
I think they'll tinker with the seating, yeah. And maybe the sites.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Do you really think there are 12 teams that can win the title? It wasn't the case this year. It wasn't because you're still talking. Once you're getting down to 3, 4 lost teams,
that could win the title this year.
Uh-huh.
I think there were 5 or 6.
It was just a weird year, though. A lot of these teams
weren't
that
though.
good.
It was true.
Yeah, true.
It's wide open in the fact that Ohio State lost to Michigan, right? I mean, they're clearly the most talented team, but we really didn't know it.
Yeah.
But the fact that Oregon was number 1 and were a dog in their first game on a neutral, right? So, I like the format, though. I like 12. I think that's the appropriate number. I think you should get some buys for the top teams. I get you could go to 14 and give only the top 2 a buy. If you went to 16, then nobody gets a buy. I don't know that that's fair.
Would you keep the semis or the quarters on home sites? We should go home sites.
Meanwhile, they
semis.
sold out all those games, and the Rose Bowl was the only one that sold out of the quarterfinal games. The other 3 did not sell out. Only the Rose Bowl sold out.
Well, look how many games Ohio State had to play. But they still showed out, and that was a huge ticket last night.
You know, there was only really one team that was awful in the playoff. Tennessee. SMU, if they don't throw the 3, they beat themselves.
Yeah.
The only team that just got waxed was Tennessee that had no shot in the game.
Yeah. Funny how that played out, no doubt. In sports betting and trading, understanding probability, the ultimate game changer. Unlock the secrets of high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horowitz, a former floor trader and sports bettor with over 45 years of experience. Visit BubbaTrading.com/VSiN today. Promo code VSiN500 to save $500. Don't miss your chance to sharpen your strategy and gain the edge in your trading game. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Promo code VSiN500. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN. Promo code VSiN500. Win-lose coming up. We recap the title game with all the props and some bad beats. Why was Herb Street crying? Ohio State went to hell and back? I mean, I don't know.
He should just stay to acting in dog videos.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Surreal piece of theater, that was. We'll also talk to Jeff Seeley with golf as well. You cannot be serious in an hour. We'll go out to Cleveland. Our guy, Tony Rizzo, ESPN in Cleveland. How are they feeling, Buckeye Nation? And from on the hot seat to winning the national title, Day does a great job, and we'll get an update on Watson and the factory of sadness with the Browns. Tony Rizzo next. Follow the money. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius Channel XM 158.
And they're off.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Pauly Howard, Mike Palm, Mitch out. Back tomorrow, hopefully. Our guy, Tony Rizzo, ESPN Cleveland, home of the Buckeyes, joins us now on the progressive guest line to talk everything Buckeyes and everything Cleveland as the Big Ten runs college football. Back-to-back Jack and 3 of the top 5 teams in the last AP poll. How you doing, sir? Good to talk to you.
Guys, freezing over here, not going to lie. I got to get to the Palms, please. Maestro, pleasure.
Tony, nice to talk to you.
6 below, yeah.
Pauly, let me just say this. The fact that, so everybody wants to know what happened. Let me tell you exactly what we know, okay? When the Buckeyes lost to Michigan, they got all caught up in this, let's be more physical and run the ball thing. And I don't know whether it was Chip Kelly or Ryan or whoever. Ryan Day told his football team after that game, and he revealed it over the weekend. He apologized. He said, that's on me. I didn't put you guys in a good position. He goes, let's go win the thing right now. So honestly, I know there are still Buckeye fans here that are PO'd about the Michigan loss, which I can't believe. You want a natty, who cares? But some of them do. He said, I messed up, let's win the whole thing. And that loss turned everything around for them. So as much as Buckeye fan hates that loss to Michigan, 4 in a row, 3 in a row, I don't even know what it is. I don't know. We beat them 8 in a row. Urban never lost to them. Whatever. It's all cyclical. Mm-hmm. That loss turned around everything. This team got committed. They opened it up. They felt like they had nothing to lose. They played angry. Guys, you know these teams, when you're playing angry like that, like you got something to prove, it's exactly what they needed.
Well said. Was he going to get fired if they lost to Tennessee?
Yes, Paul.
Oh.
Yeah. So how about this? Without the 12-team playoff, Ryan Day, he would have got a job. Believe me, he would have got a job. Might even went to the NFL. But, yeah, if there wasn't a 12-team playoff and there wasn't a chance for redemption, I believe he would have been relieved of his duties. That's how bad it got after that loss.
Well, they had so much talent, and they're the only team to beat top five teams. What took so long, right?
Yeah. How about this, Pauly? They covered 4 games.
Yes, they did.
They covered every game. Covered. I mean, I know last night was, oh, by the way, what a bad beat. I know you do the bad beats every day. My God. The field goal at the end, that was a bad beat. But they covered. They were dominant. You know what it is, guys? They can score whenever they want. So last night, even when Notre Dame started coming back, I wasn't concerned because I knew they would have if they went to Smith late in the game, he put the game away with that big, by the way, the single coverage there. How about the decision to kick the field goal, 16 to 13 points? Oh, my God.
I know.
Can't believe it. You're in a national championship game. It's 9 yards. He goes, well, it was 9 yards. Don't you have a play? Call a play for 10 yards. Go for it. My God.
Yeah, it's tough to think you're going to stop Ohio State twice, Tony, in the last 9 minutes.
Right.
If you're down.
Right. Do the math. It's all about possessions. Michael Lombardi. It's all about possessions. How many possessions do you have left? Yes.
Talk about this team next year, Tony. How do they restock, reload, and should they be number 1?
Well, they're going to be number 2, I think. I think Texas might be number 1 because of Arch Manning. But they are loaded. Caleb Downs is back. He's one of the he'd be a top 5 draft pick this year, and Jeremiah Smith would be a top 5 draft pick. They're both back. Jeremiah Smith has 2 more years, guys, at Ohio State. He's a freshman, a true freshman. They're going to be loaded. The question is at quarterback. They have a kid named Julian Sand who they love. Came from Alabama, committed to Alabama when Nick left. He went to the Buckeyes, sat the bench this year. Minimal playing time. There's a St. Xavier kid. There's another freshman kid that's really good. But I'm interested to see if they go to the portal. If they try and pluck another Will Howard. I mean, I don't know. You know, Beck went to Miami.
Yeah.
You know, they'll probably kick the tires on that. But I've got a feeling they're going to let the Saint kid try and win it in spring.
Okay. Interesting. Do you think they got the MVP right with Howard?
Yeah. I can't believe how the kid played. Guys, there was big controversy here on our show. You know, before the Michigan game, I said, Will Howard is not a real Buckeye, and, you know, he's a rented guy, and it made giant news in Columbus. And I said 5 times, I hope he plays well. I'm a Buckeye fan. They never, you know, played any of that. Then the kid went out and, pooped the bed at the Michigan.
Yeah.
So it was like, I can't believe how great that kid's story is, that he turned it around. He played better than any quarterback in the playoff.
Yep.
And Quinn Ewers, the kid in Oregon, you name it. He played as well as any of them. I give him all the credit in the world. I do.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. They're mercenaries. That's nothing wrong with what you said, and certainly.
And you know what,
yeah.
Paulie, I was all for giving these kids money.
Yeah,
I
sure.
always was.
Sure.
When I went to college, okay, Art Schleister's jersey was in the bookstore, and people were buying it. Art Schleister didn't get $1. You know what I mean?
It was ridiculous.
The poor guy was gambling, for God's sake.
I know. What's the pecking order there? Browns, Buckeyes.
Oh, it's all Browns. Paulie, by the way, not a lot of faith in Andrew Berry to get this right. I don't know what the Browns are going to do. They need a quarterback. There's two good ones. Are they going to? No, we're thinking probably trade down, take a lineman, and then maybe a QB at 33. I don't know. It all depends. But this is a giant year for Andrew Berry, their GM. You look at his past 5 drafts, you get a chance. Not really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept him around, and this is going to be a monumental offseason. I know it is for everybody every year, but for the Browns this year, it's a really big one. We're all excited about the Cavs, though, here, too.
Tony, do you think
Sure.
the Browns consider dealing Myles Garrett?
No, I don't. And I've talked to people on the record and off the record, and I don't think they're interested in doing that. He's invested here in the community. He bought part of the Cavs. He's a great kid. He's come a long way. He was young when he got here, and over the 5-6 years he's been here, 7 years, he's really established himself as one of the leaders of the team. And I don't know what you can get, guys. Like, everybody assumes you can get 2 number ones. Tell me who's going to give you that. I don't know.
Has Watson played his final game? What happened? He's in Miami
Yes.
and tore. How do you tear your Achilles again?
Oh, Paulie, that's very convenient for the Browns. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Very convenient for the Browns because the guy you got to remember, he got booed, he got injured. The fans have had enough. It's been 3 years. He hasn't produced. It's the worst contract in sports. We got to hear about it every day, all day long. Everybody needs to move on. And then Deshaun needs to move on. Yeah, he needs a new change of scenery. Way too much pressure here. And everybody said his problem was above the neck. Everybody. The guy was physically healthy. He just couldn't process anymore. Too much going on in his head.
Well, who's the quarterback then?
Oh, God. They're talking about Kirk Cousins. Aaron Rodgers might be at play. Browns are going to get a bridge quarterback, and then they're going to draft a quarterback. They have to draft one, but do they go with Shedeur at 2? Does the father want to play here? We don't think so.
Yeah.
Would they go Cam Ward? He might not be available. Well, then you're looking at Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe. We have 33. Don't forget. The Browns have number 2 in round 1, but they have number 1 in round 2. So there's a possibility they could take quarterback there. If they wait later than that, they're playing with fire. But we're hearing bridge quarterback. Everybody's in play that's available on the market. Cousins was with Stefanski in Minnesota.
Oh, God. What a debacle. Condolences. The Cavs are good, though. You got a championship because of the Cavs. So what do you think and concerns that the Cavs have? I guess if they play big guards, that gives them issues. They saw the loss to Indiana and the losses to Atlanta. But what do you think of this hot Cavs team that took out Phoenix no problem yesterday?
They're not without flaws, okay? And, people over here thought they were going to go 70 wins, okay? Their perimeter defense is something they'll look at, but I don't see them really making a move. I think they'll go with what they have. The Atkinson hire it looks like, just a home run. This guy he's really done a good job. Even he's surprised at how good they are. Can they win a title? Pizza money at best, guys. I don't know what they are. I think the Knicks might be a shorter number than they are right now, but the Cavs are good, and they should be in play for the Eastern Conference Finals. Absolutely.
Third choice. You're slightly ahead of the Knicks. You're 9-1 in that range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are they? 10-1?
Knicks are 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Celtics are going through the motions. They're not interested. You're going to get
look like a team. Are they hell bent to win 2 in a row, guys? I don't know. Where's the Kobe? Where's the LeBron on that team that's, driving them to we'll see. They play with their food. They do.
Well, and they're struggling from 3, and they take 50 of them a game. So when that doesn't happen, they lose. Great to talk to you, my friend. Get out of the cold weather. And
thanks for getting back on Sirius. I'm a Sirius guy. Love you guys on 158.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. There he is, Tony Rizzo, Progressive Guest Line, ESPN Cleveland, home of the Buckeyes. Wow. There's absolutely, he was gone. They lost to Tennessee. He was gone. He's right, too, by not getting the playoff. That saved them. Incredible. He also said off air that they have a clock in the facility, and it counts down till the Michigan game. And several ex-players have said, get rid of it. It's enough already.
Too obsessed with Michigan.
Yep, right, because he can't handle it. The game's too big for him. He puts too much on that game, and he loses his mind. 1-4 now against them. So I think that'd be a good move. Just take the clock down, and it's enough already. Win-lose coming up next. We recap the props that cashed. You will not believe what happened in the NBA. The whole card yesterday. That's next. Sirius XM Channel 158. Get the VSiN Watch app, VSiN.com. Follow the money. Pauly Howard, Mike Palm, live from Circa.
Got a good thing coming. Just wait and see. It's a good.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Beautiful drive to start. Old school football. Leonard first touchdown, 7-1. Anytime touchdown, plus 150. Can you imagine if they would have continued to do that? This guy would have like 40 carries and just chewing clock. Next thing you know, the game's over. The first quarter took 20. It was like, bam, like that.
2 drives.
Yeah, that was it. Beautiful. Oh, puking on the sideline. Incredible. Ohio State to win by 7 to 12 points, plus 440. Great house, anytime touchdown, plus 525 here at Circa. Most receiving yards in the game, 24-1. Did anybody see him 2 touchdowns? Or Judkins 3? I couldn't find it. Did you agree with the MVP?
I thought it was Judkins.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns.
A lot of people had 14-1 ticket. They were ticked off.
Britton did. Our former producer, Britton, has had a ticket. He said, what do you think? All said it. This was mid-4th quarter. You got no shot. It's Will Howard.
Yeah. I know. I thought they got it right, but, I mean, the kid was 17 of 21, and they went down the field the first 4 drives, and he was great. Notre Dame, first team to score, plus 155. NBA, Celtics from 6.5 up to 9.5. Worst loss at home for Kerr in the war. Would they lose by 40? What a debacle.
Well, the best was his post-game press conference. Did you see that?
What did he say?
They asked him if he watched the inauguration. He said, no, I was watching Celtics tape. It didn't help.
No. Clippers, Bulls under, 233.5 to 227.5. This happens every year, and I forgot about it. Every game yesterday in the NBA on MLK went under in regulation. Only one game went over. It's because it went in overtime. And that's been a trend going back for years.
Really?
That there's all unders on MLK Day. The early starts, where I don't know what it is. Easy. Look at the scores and what the totals were. College hoops, Penn plus 250, beat Harvard. Brown plus 320. Georgetown plus 270. Lose some. Knicks, Hawks over 231.5 up to 239.5. No good. Jazz, Pelicans under 236.5 down to 230. Get to that in a second. Bad beats, Jeremiah Smith under receiving yards prop. Oh, brutal. 56-yard reception late in the game to put him over. Oh, and the onions to call that. Pelicans, Jazz under. 110 in regulation. It was 238.5 at some spots. Goes over because of overtime, and I had this. We know we've talked about it, ridiculous. The Bulls playing the Clippers, so it's the first time in with the new Intuit Dome and the home court advantage and the wall. Bulls team total was 110.5. They're blowing them out. They got the starters in with a minute left. Levine's hitting threes. Vucevic scored. Got to 112. Ridiculous. One lose some. Look at this from Arrowhead on Saturday. Get the picture of the fan? Why even go to the game? Look where they're sitting. They're up in the last possible seat, way up, top left at Arrowhead. What could you even see at that point? And they stick you there.
Not
right?
to mention the wind there.
Oh my God! Imagine how cold it was. Look at that. Is it worth it? The tickets, airfare, hotel to sit out there in 10 degrees, and that's your seat?
It's a Bob Uecker seat.
It's a Bob Uecker. You're right. It's a Bob Uecker seat. I can't believe it. I'm in front of...
You missed the tag.
Oh, come on. Just stay at home. Have a 6-pack and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Get Uber Eats. Come on. Oh, I couldn't believe that was a great tweet about where those fans were sitting. Getting ready for Big Game 59 with a big deal to match. Save $59 off the VSiN Pro annual subscription when you sign up using promo code FTM. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber. Bet smarter all year long. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DK and Circa. 24/7 video access. Don't miss out on this big game deal. VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code FTM. VSiN.com/subscribe. Your thoughts on Ben Johnson going to the Bears? How surprised were you?
I don't think I'm not surprised, but I never thought that this guy was made out to be a head coach. I really didn't, Paul. I talked about that with you and Mitch on last Wednesday when I came on. I mean, I have multiple people talking about he can't stand in front of a group. He can't talk. He's not a leader. His social skills are not developed to be in that kind of a position. I mean, this is the whole thing with him and Caleb, and he's going to be Caleb's whisperer. But there's a lot more that goes into an organization than calling plays. And we see this time and time again. We promote highly successful coordinators to head coaches, and they're not prepared to deal with everything that comes with it. the media, the discipline, dealing with the front office. It's a whole different ballgame. And he had the perfect front guy in Detroit and Dan Campbell to do that, where he had to do none of it. I say the experiment fails. I think it's a bad hire. I want Ben Johnson as my offensive coordinator. I don't want him as my head coach.
Who would you have hired?
Why not Vrabel? Why not somebody with some gravitas, somebody that can run an organization?
Patriots beat him to it, though. Were you surprised how much money they're going to give him? No. And it looked like it was going to be the Raiders, but the Bears
They were trying to lowball him. He wanted 15. They wanted 10. I think the reports are the Raiders offered Johnson a lot of money, $8.5 million. The Bears came over the top, and that's what sealed it for him. They had sweet, which surprises me out of the Bears organization.
No doubt,
right?
Yes,
chintzy.
You're right.
Chintzy group. So we'll see. I mean, we won't know if I'm right or wrong for a few years here, but I don't think that he takes them to a title in the next 5. I'll put it this way: no NFC North titles in the next 5 years.
They won't win a division?
They won't win the division.
What do you think of Detroit now, though? You lose both coordinators.
Depends on who you get to replace them. I mean, here you got guys out interviewing when you're game planning for Washington. I hate that.
I know. So
I really hate that.
That's a problem.
It is a problem.
You got a huge game. You got the bye divisional round, and you're interviewing all week.
What do you have? The three teams in the NFC North: Vikings, Packers, Lions. 40-11 in the regular season, 0-3 in the playoffs. Whose trajectory do you like here in the next couple of years? The best out of those three. It's an interesting question. I would say the Lions have the best core still.
I don't know. How many years does Goff have left? I don't know. They have great talent. Boy, that's a tough one. Green Bay's young.
They're young.
I'd go Green Bay. Oh, boy, that's tough. I think he's doing a great job with the Bears. I think you're going to see what this should look like now and get.
Think the Bears will make the playoffs next year?
It's tough in the NFC. Eagles, Washington, South's dreadful. Oh, boy, it's going to be tough. See what the win total is. What do you think the Raiders should do? Human said Pete Carroll.
Why are you so against Pete Carroll?
Come on.
You think Belichick is great at 73, but Carroll's a joke at 74. I don't get it. What's it, 1 year? That's the difference?
Remember what Sherman said? It's the same message. It's stale. That was like, it was like a couple years into Seattle. Like, you're going to get the same rah-rah speech and same stuff out of the guy. I don't know. He won.
Well, but maybe he can win for a few years.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you expect him to coach to 90?
I don't hate it. The Raiders, I don't hate it.
It's a 2 to 3 year play.
I know. Raiders, I don't hate it. I just want the Raiders.
Well, they have to have a quarterback.
There you go.
They went into the season with no quarterback. It's like the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
They went into the season, when you asked them last year, well, we weren't that bad, it was our goaltending, and they went into the season with the same 2 goaltenders.
I don't know. You're right. I just can't believe some of it. Brian Schottenheimer's the favorite to be the Cowboys head coach. Aaron Glenn to the Jets, probably.
You think so? Not New Orleans?
No, you're going to lose that press conference. You just gave up 45 points. I don't care who's hurt. So that's a tough sell. And, see what the Raiders do and what the quarterback's going to be as well. But it just goes back to what all those guys that were out there last year. And you blew it with some of these hires. Because 3 all-time guys were available. Harbaugh, Belichick, and Vrabel. And the Patriots snatched him up and did a great job there. So the other thing is Johnson's going to go, Dennis Allen with his DC and Rizzo is going to be a special teams coach. That's what it looks like. So that's not bad. But you should at least be able to have a winning record, I would think, with that. Also, what'd you think of the games? Very surprising what you said at the top about it. It's just nuts. Every team that lost outgained their opponent. You could argue all 4 winners were outplayed. Definitely Houston outplayed Kansas City.
Houston
Baltimore
was by far the better team.
Oh, I know.
Game. But
Incredible box score.
They can't win. They're never going to let them win that game. They can't win. Anytime you touch Mahomes, it's 15.
Right.
How can you win? You can't win.
Or if you don't touch him, it's 15.
Let me ask you this. The 13-second game a few years ago where they let Kansas City kick the field goal and win. You think Buffalo's better this year than they were that year?
Yes. No. That year they were better.
That year they're better than now. But Kansas
attack.
City's not as good as well.
Right.
So
Kansas City has a ton of issues. Yeah, that's an interesting question. What do you think? What do you think of the Eagle game?
I can't believe it's 6.5.
Yeah, it goes up.
I grabbed 6 yesterday, minus 105. I said, this can't get north of 6. It's 6.5 today.
Yeah.
No respect for the Commanders.
I am surprised because you went down to 4.5 like other spots.
We opened at 5, immediately got bet down to 4.5 on
and now
Sunday.
It's 6.5.
6.5.
So they say his knee's okay, and that's. I don't know. It didn't look good to me.
No.
He couldn't move. Like Mitch said, it was the easiest safety of all time. When does Hurts get sacked 7 times? Certainly the Rams have a great pass rush, but that was That's got me shook. And I think that the first game was close, and they beat them in the second game, and they had 5 turnovers. This kid's hot. Doesn't turn the ball over. So more on that coming up. We got Super Bowl lines out, what that looks like, and also some great props as well. We'll shift to golf coming up next. Indy Jeff Seeley on the Sony Open. His picks, top 20s to win it all, and some props. Derek Stevens, and still to come, You Cannot Be Serious in half an hour. Follow the money, Pauly Howard. Mike Paulman for Mitch Moss, VSiN.com, Sirius XM Channel 158, VSiN Watch app. Get it now. Back with golf.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy.